Thank you very much for giving me studios, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to everybody. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, my part today is totally different to what we're going to discuss. It's not about sports context, starting blocks or finishing line. It's more on theoretical parts, which is quite boring. Anyway, I'm going to divide my paper today, or my presentations today, into two. The first one, of course, the introductions of the whole idea what is sports law, and the second one is to discuss the broad frameworks of sports contracts. This fellow is Professor Edward Gressels. With his book Sports and the Law, published in 1988. When I started my master, was requested by Professor Datuk to read this book, to analyze its contents. And then later, I was requested by another senior lecturer, Dr. Baharudin, to read other books, The New Lords of the Rings by Andrew Jennings. You can see again the contrasting between the two books here is one talks about how to manipulate sports, and the other one talks about how to manipulate law. The first book, of course, talks about how to manipulate law, and the second one talks about how to manipulate sports. It makes me confused, and I hope that today's presentations, or today's seminar, are able to give you what we call something shines on what is sports law based on the debates of sports law and sports and the law. Because there are two contracting terms here, sports law and sports and the law. Which one actually belongs to Malaysia? Anyway, my first part, of course, asking all of you here, what is sports law? My response is, this is the most difficult one. Why? Not because sports is defined, but uncertainty related to what information you want. As a lawyer, perhaps, what is information you want to ask is a range of services offered by legal firm. And for academicians like me, is what kind of substantive areas fall under the rubrics of sports law. And perhaps individuals may ask, what is sports law? Asking for more fundamental consideration, what is sports law? Is there anything exists such as sports law? Okay. Is sports law stand by itself and represent an independent corpus of law, such as what we learned, torts, contracts, employments, and so on? The fact is, it is of opinions. Therefore, my speech then, we will take a brief debate. What is the sports law according to the academic thinking? And as academics, of course, when we talk about the definition of sports law, it may take more than 2 hours. That's okay, you know, as you know here, I bring the text with me. It makes me strange. Try to read my own text. It's a storytelling to all of you. But anyway, I will explain to you what is sports law and what is sports and the law. There are two differences. More time is needed actually if you want to discuss some Latin terms. For example, lex sportiva or lex ludica. Something is okay, but the term is quite strange, but I believe that some of you understand this term. And then I will try my best within 20 minutes to explain everything about sports law. Not even talk about contract with me. Okay, back to the first view. Okay, this Edward Gressels. Okay, he believed that there's no such things called sports law. There's no jurisprudence called sports law. Even he is the first writer, authors of the book. He even not believe that there's a such things called sports law. Despite of many sports legislations in UK at the time. For example, Football Offences Act 1991, Football Disorder Act 2000, Safety and Sport Ground Act 1975. all about football. Football is very sensitive. Okay, but then again, that's why I wonder why first legislation in UK is also about football. Maybe is anybody came from football associations here? Nobody want to say yes. Okay. Maybe the state felt that football clubs are not devoting enough resources, am I right or not? To spectator safety, and the state control is now necessary. And I start to realize that sport law addresses ethical issues such as safety and economic security. Barnes says in his book Sport and the Law in Canada in 1996, writes that sport law is the wider legal system that influences politics and the sports game to the politics of the law game. What extent is true? Let's discuss together after this. The subject matter of sports law includes states' control and subsidy of sports, right of access, disciplinary powers and procedures, commercial and property rights, as well as employment relations. In that sense, okay, I may say this Professor Edward Grayson is right, saying that okay, whatever we now have is only applications of law in sports, not a substantive law of sport law itself. Then comes to the second groups. Last year, July 2012, my last sport visit was Melbourne's law schools. I was appointed as visiting scholars for 1 month. There I learned this guy, Adams OP. He's the director of sport law program, talking about the latest development of sport law. He believed that this development shaped the contours of this emerging field of study, sport law. It will eventually transform sport law from a course without a corpus to a widely recognized independent substantive of law. That's what he believed. According to him, sports problems require unique application, and then, of course, it never happened in other contexts of law. He then belonged to the second group, and started to challenge the view of the traditionalist group. Belongs to the professor question just now. The second group, who named themselves as the moderate view group, believe that sport law may develop into a field of law. It's not yet, it may develop, according to these directors. Ladies and gentlemen, there are few reasons why he said so. The first one, this is me. According to National Sports Law Institute USA, who had conducted 4 surveys from 1999 to 2011 to identify sport law courses currently offered at US law school. The data shows that since 1999, there has been a significant increase in schools that are offering sport law courses taught by full-time law faculty. See, you can see that here in 2011, I am unable to read it. The percentage is 84%, which means 167 out of 198 law schools being reviewed that offering law school offerings sport law courses. Back in Malaysia, UKM also offering the same. Tiru sikit lah. Alright? We are offering master level as well as PhD levels, advanced sports law. That one we will discuss in detail. Here cannot, 20 minutes only. Alright. At the same time, I believe UPM and UITM also introduce special subjects called legal aspect of sport and recreations. Of course, in all levels, starting from diploma level, special level, as well as master level. There are also increasing list of books on the subject matters, as you can see here, a lot. All talks about sports law. Check for yourself. And of course, last one, is my book lah. And then as well as ever-growing list of sports-specific legislation and case law, which places sport into a special domain, according to Mr. Hedemawi. And the last one, the third group, who accuse that sport law currently exists as a field of law. Now we talk about sports law. The group claimed that there are growing body of cases and statutory case laws specific to the sport industry. This is again a professor, professor of Simon Gardiner. It's not Gardiner, it's Simon Gardiner. Okay, with his books, okay, I believe that all of you read his books, okay, his textbook, okay, for us. Okay, he said that okay, it's true to say that okay, sport law is largely an amalgamation of interrelated legal discipline involving such areas as contracts, taxations, employment, competition, and criminal law. But dedicated legislation and case law has developed and will continue to do so as an area of study and extensive practitioner involvement. The time is right to accept that a new legal area has gone.